Hey, thanks for joining the call. Today I wanted to talk about comparison, something that pervades everyone's life, persists seemingly all the time. Even if we feel like we have acknowledged that we are comparing ourselves on a regular basis to other people, whether it be through our phones or amongst people we work with or with our family, friends, peers. But somehow it seems to always creep back around. It seems to be that presence in your life that 1 minute you're okay and the next minute it's right on your sat on your shoulder again. A comparison is, for me at least, I used to view comparison in a way where I thought it was useful to me. Maybe you could relate, because I always thought that if I was able to, use other people as reference, I could grow. I could learn. And in doing so, I could improve my life. But what I've realized is too much comparison leads to an unhealthy relationship with essentially yourself, where you're too hyper-focused on what it is you're doing, on what it is other people are doing. And I wanted to have this conversation today because I caught myself doing it this morning, and I feel like it might resonate with you. And perhaps you found yourself today or even recently this week or month getting caught within that thought, even catching yourself thinking, realizing, and then turning that comparative energy into negativity. And then you're just wondering, well, how did I, I just woke up, I grabbed my phone, I started using social media, and now I'm in a bad mood. And, we've all been there, and most of us have recognized it, yet, we can't get out of our own habits because they're too comfortable. I don't know about you, but I like using my phone. I like staying connected. I like to waste my time on YouTube. It's just a guilty pleasure. And as much as I see, all the advice online telling me, don't do this and don't do that, and, you should wake up and get sunlight in your eyes, or you should be starting the day this way or that way, I do my things anyway. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. We are just creatures of comfort, creatures of habit. And sometimes it's not so much about needing to change my habits, but more so just to pay a little bit more attention and give yourself a bit of leeway. Because I find the worst thing is not that I am on social media and then I'm using it as a comparison tool, but that I have a relationship with myself where I feel the need to compare myself, because I know for a fact there'll be millions of people in the world who use Facebook or YouTube on a daily basis, and they don't experience the things I'm experiencing. And so, I'm glad to be on this call with you today, because you might be someone who feels similarly to me, where we're just, even brilliant people, entertaining people, great videos, great conversations, podcasts, things that I should be enjoying, that I should be soaking up. I spend maybe 50%, 20%, depends on the video, comparing myself. Why am I not doing as well as this person? Maybe I'm not as entertaining as that person. I'm not where that person is. They've got a social media account with this many followers, and I'm just stuck here. It's it can feel a little bit persistent and lead to. I had a phone call with someone recently, and they said, how many times do you have an existential crisis? This was out of nowhere, by the way. I'm not someone who gives the impression that I have existential crisis. I think they were just asking for themselves. But it did make me think, I think I have micro existential crises all the time, in the form of these kind of by way of comparison, where it's not like my whole life is flipped over, but that I have these mini negative episodes, within a morning for 10 minutes. And it takes maybe 50 minutes to get out of it before I can stabilize and just get into the day. And I feel like that's more jarring than big, maybe few and far between, but moments of real reflection where it feels like a bolt of lightning or an explosion where I'm really sorting through some things. And that's all due to comparison. And I really do, as they say, comparison is the thief of joy, and I wish people as much joy as they can get. And I guess we're all walking on that road, trying to find our way through and get to that place of joy, get to at least more joy. The way I kind of think about life is like, in an idealistic point of view, if I could make it so that I could look back on my last day here on earth and say, you know what, for most of the time, or for most of my days, most of my weeks, most of my months, most of the years I was on this planet, and most of that day I felt good, then I'm happy. I'll be all right. I think that's something I think about, just because it simplifies life. I don't have to worry about, the material stuff. I don't have to worry about the success. I can kind of just distill everything down to how much of today did I like? How much of today did I like? And whether that stems from, helping someone out, improving other people's day, or, making enough money so that you can pay your bills, or, keeping the people around you, like your family, happy. I think that then can stem back to like, today was accomplished. But spending too much time laser focused on the next guy, the guy who's slightly above the ladder to you, the guy who's right there, right next to you, but he's just above you. It's like the content creators who kind of look similar to you. They might have been in your friendship group when you were in school, but they have 2 million followers on YouTube. Those are the ones that kind of hit the hardest for me, because I see how close and how far away I am from them at the same time. We connect in a real way, but at the same time, my comparison brain, my monkey brain, is telling me like, they're so much better in this way and they're so much better in that way. Now, I wish I had all the answers for you. I wish I could say, I have 5 simple steps to do this and do that, and tomorrow you'll be, enlightened. But I've found, even in my short time on earth at 27 years old, that it's a skill you build where you could break it down, this comparison monkey brain, into one, the thoughts are going to happen. Thoughts are always going to happen, and you're always going to have some kind of form of comparison, but your relationship with it will be different. You might, over the years, get faster and more tuned to recognizing when you're doing it, and then have a more robust thought process and mindset around that whole process. You might feel better about yourself. You might be in a good position in your life where comparison can be brushed off. And you might some other times be in such a bad place, feel so down, and everything's going wrong that it'll get you. You know what I mean? And it'll hold you down for days on end. And I really don't have any real... This channel isn't really, as I said in my last video, and I'll hopefully try and reiterate this every video, the point of this channel is not to give you advice and to give you all the answers. It's just to say that I know what you're going through, because I go through the same thing. I don't have the 5-step solution. I don't have any course that's going to change your life. And I certainly don't think I'm better than you in any way. And that's the truth. And, all we can really do is just speak to each other. Just to know, because I find it feels good to know that there are people out there who are basically in the same position I am, no matter the age. So I find it easy sometimes to connect with people of all ages, because if I can recognize and find common ground in a mindset, then we're away. And that just makes you feel better, doesn't it? So, I'm going to keep it short. I don't want to ramble too much, because then it'll get boring. But I wanted to hop on and just say, I know what you're going through. You'll get better. You'll get better at handling it. If you are someone who finds themselves comparing themselves on a regular basis and it affects your mood, over time you'll get better. you'll feel better about yourself sometimes, and other times you won't, but you'll know what's happening at least, and you'll have ways of dealing with it that'll be personal to you. And I only wish you the best. So thank you for joining this call, and have a good day. I'll see you soon.